Hello, students. This is Englishator, and I'm gonna teach you English through reviewing the most common mistakes which learners usually make while trying to speak in English. And today we are gonna see what the most common mistakes are in the simple present tense, which people usually make while trying to speak in English. Okay, so first of all, we will review the common sentence structures that are used while making sentences in this tense, the simple present tense. So, most of you might already be knowing the structure of the affirmative sentences, right? Affirmative sentences in the simple present tense. We usually start our sentence with the subject. A subject is a person or a thing which or whom we are talking about, or most commonly, the subject in a sentence is the doer of something, right? So the subject usually governs the verb that usually follows it. So we start with the subject, and in this tense we use either V1 or V5 depending upon the number and person of the subject. And if the verb is transitive, we will use the object as well, right? So I put it between brackets because this is not always required. If the verb is intransitive, then you won't be needing the object. You can use additional words if required, for example, adverbs, etc. So, the V1 or the first form of a verb is the main form, right? For example, read, write, go, come, etc. And V5, that is the fifth form of a verb, is usually made by adding s or es after the V1 form, right? For example, when the V1 is read, we will have reads as the V5, writes as the V5, right? Goes, comes, sometimes study, the V1 form, then we have studies, right? Etc. So, most of you might already be knowing this concept. Now, what I have found during my long years of teaching, that mostly while speaking, people forget, mostly I'm saying, people forget to use V5 when the subject is either he or she or it or any name, any name in the singular. This we know. The V5 form is used when the subject is either he, she, it, or one name, right? That is, when the subject is singular, we use the V5 form. And when the subject is either I, we, you, or they, or plural, in the plural form. When the subject is in the plural form, we use the V1 form of the verb, and when the subject is singular, then we use the V5 form. Now, the most common mistake people usually make here is this one. They will say, for example, he go to the market. This is wrong because we have seen that when the subject is he or the third person singular number pronoun or a singular noun, then we use the V5 form, which is usually made by using S or ES after the verb, right? And that requires another chapter or another lecture as to when we use S and when we use ES. But that's a separate chapter altogether that maybe if time permits, I will make another video on, right, to guide you all. So now it is correct. He goes to the market, right? Similarly, she do her homework. She do her homework daily, right? You know, this is incorrect. We will say she does her homework daily. Now it is correct. Understood? Some more examples. John make tables. Again, it is incorrect. We will say John makes table. Then it will be correct. Usually people make such kinds of mistakes. And very rarely they will say with I, they think I is singular. Of course, it is singular, but I is the first person singular pronoun. So with I, we use the V1 form. So don't say I goes to school daily. That's incorrect. Because the V5 form is used only with the third person singular number pronouns or singular nouns. I is singular, but it is in the first person. This is the first person singular number pronoun, and with it we use the V1 form only. I go to school daily. Okay, now let's see the structure of the negative sentence, right? Negative. So, in the negative sentence, we use the auxiliary verb do or does, and then we use the adverb not, and then after that we use the V1 form only. once we have used do or does, we will use the V1 form only, not the V5. And again, if required, we will add the object and other words as well. Now, what are the mistakes which most people make while making the negative sentences in this tense? Right. So, for example, they will say, he do not know me. He do not know me. This is incorrect. Right? Does is used. Right? This does is used with he, she, it, and singular, a singular noun or singular nouns, right? With the singular subject, we use does, and do is used with I, we, you, they, and plural noun or plural nouns, right? With a plural noun. So do not say he do not know me. This is incorrect. What will you use? You will use does here. You will say he does not know me. Right. And when you are contracting these two words, you will say he doesn't know me. Similarly, most beginners, they would say, John do not make chairs. Again, this is wrong. With the third person singular number pronoun or a singular noun, we will use does. So our correct sentence would be, John does not make chairs. Right? Or John doesn't make chairs. Another mistake which people usually make here, they would say, since we know that we use the V5 form of the verb with he, she, it, and singular nouns, they will again use the V5 form here. They will say, John does not knows me. That is also incorrect. Because the V5 form is used in the affirmative sentence, not in the negative sentence. Because once you have already used does, that has made all the downstream thing or the rest of the sentence similar, so to speak. So you will not say he does not knows me. You will say he does not or doesn't know me. So this is also one of the most common mistakes which people usually make while speaking in English. Most beginners and learners. The correct sentence is, he doesn't. Once you have used does, you will not use the V5 form here. You will not use S or ES with the verb. You will, because you have already put S or ES with do, right? So the whole sentence or the whole verb phrase has become singular. So you will not repeat, you will not further singularize it. right? It will become doubly singular. That mistake we have to avoid. He doesn't know me. Don't say he doesn't knows me or he do not know me. I hope you got it. Similarly, why making a question or an interrogative sentence? What's the structure? The interrogative sentence in this tense starts with do or does plus the subject plus the V1 form of the verb, and if required you can use the object and other words. Now again, the rule is this auxiliary verb or this form of the auxiliary verb do, that is does, this is used only with he, she, it, or the third person singular pronoun, or a singular noun. So again, don't say do he go to school, do he go to school, or when do he go to school, right? You will use does, you will use does with he, she, it, or a singular noun. We use the auxiliary verb does, right? So the correct sentence would be does he go to school, and here when does he go to school, right? Another mistake which people usually make here is even after using does, they will use the V5 form, right? Does he goes to school? They will say, does he goes to school? Don't do that. Once you have already used does, the entire verb phrase has become singular. So don't repeat it by using s or es after the main verb again. Don't doubly singularize the verb phrase. So what you will say, this is incorrect. This is again one of the most common mistakes which learners usually make. So you will say, does he go to school? Right? Then it would be correct. Right? You can practice these sentences. There are many websites where you just need to type, right, the simple present tense exercise worksheets, and those websites will give you enough number of sentences to practice. I hope you like this video. You have really done it. If you have really done it, then please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to this channel. We'll meet again next time with another set of mistakes which learners usually make, and we will rectify ourselves, learning from their mistakes, right? As they say, failures are the pillars of success, and even your last mistake is your best teacher. So, we will keep learning from our mistakes. Bye and take care.